Hey everybody, I'm Neil with Aviator Q. Welcome back to another episode. On today's episode we're going to be hitting a Thanksgiving classic. We're going to do smoked turkey on the Weber Smoky Mountain. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. On this channel we cover everything from grilling, smoking, barbecuing, etc. Those of you who are familiar with the channel, appreciate your patience. It's been a while since we got another video out. It's been kind of a hectic couple months for me. The end of August, had some training that I really had to get studying for. September was crazy. I changed bases in October, and the base is just, it's hard to commute. I think I spent 8 days home in October, so there was 11 day stint. I had 22 hours at the house, so there's just not time to do videos and cook. I come home and I kind of crash out. But November's looking a little bit better for my schedule. Hopefully we'll know what December here in a couple days. But for November I've got about 4 on 3 off, so maybe I might be able to get a video out a week or so, maybe one video every 2 weeks. November and December is just kind of crazy for airline guys. You know, it's kind of our go time. So just bear with me for the next couple months. I'm going to try to do some videos a little bit more often than I did for the last 2 months. But appreciate your patience and welcome back. Alright everybody, so this is the turkey that we're going to be cooking today. It's a previously frozen whole turkey, 22 pounds. We're going to throw it on the smoker. Now some people ask, how long does it take to smoke a 22, 24 pound bird? The hard answer is there's not a definitive time. When you get into turkeys that are that large, it's hard to get an even cook on them. So one thing that we're going to do today to help aid in that process is we're going to spatchcock it. And what spatchcock means, if you never heard the term before, you basically, this is the bird's laying down on its breast. This is the spine right here. We're going to come in here with some kitchen scissors and we're going to cut through the ribs, and we're going to remove the spine. Do a small incision right in the breastbone, flip it over and kind of push down on it, and the thing will just kind of break and lay all open. So it opens up the center chest cavity, gets everything laying down the grill nice and smooth, and will help aid in the even cooking when you get in such a bird of this size. What we're going to do first is we're going to create a marinade for it. We're going to inject it all up in the thighs, wings, breasts. As we're doing that, we're going to get the Weber Smoky Mountain up to temperature, and then we'll get the spatchcocking all in and get her on the grill. Alright guys, so to begin the spatchcocking process, I went ahead and removed the packaging. All of the innards, the bag, the neck bone, all that's been removed. I did remove the plastic piece that kind of keeps all the legs and everything together. The easiest thing to do is just start at the table. I do apologize for the camera angles. Courtney's at work today, so it's just going to be me and a tripod. But this flappy part right there, that's the tail. If you lift the tail up, you can gauge down into the cavity there. And we're going to take some kitchen scissors, and we're just going to run it right along the breast, or excuse me, not the breastbone, the backbone. So I'm just going to lift that up, gauge where I want to do the cut, and just kind of start working our way through. Now, a good pair of kitchen scissors is really good for this. You just kind of want to cut through the rib cage here. You just want to follow right along the spine here. And this is the first time I've actually ever spatchcocked a turkey before. Done a chicken, but should be the same process. A little hard to get the knife down in there. Might still be a little bit frozen on that back. It feels a little tough. A little tough to get through that. Might edit this a little bit since we're having such a difficult time getting through it, but you guys understand the process here. We're just gonna keep making these cuts. There we go. There. Now we're cooking with gas. Yeah, it is a little frozen. frozen right in there. That's why we're having a little bit of difficulty there. Talking about thawing a turkey, since I didn't do it properly, you want to, the best way to do it is do a slow thaw on it in the fridge. Any kind of poultry like that, you just kind of, you don't want to, goodness. It's just a little frozen, guys. It shouldn't be that hard. But all you see is we just made a cut down the spine, kind of opened the cavity up there. It is a little frozen right in there. Getting to that last little bit of bone there. And there's the cut. We're going to go down the back side, and then I'll show you once the spine's out, the whole process of laying it over. We'll be back right in a sec. Alright guys, so we finally got that spine out. Don't let that discourage you. It shouldn't be nearly as hard as it was. The bird was still a little bit frozen. I don't know if you guys can tell that. 22-pound bird, what I was trying to say as I was making the cuts, is with poultry, you want to be a little careful as you thaw it out. You don't want to just set it out on the counter and let it dry, you know, like thaw in room temperature. You got to be careful about bacteria and stuff in the poultry. The best thing to do is, if you're going to buy a frozen bird, which generally the cheaper option, and early on in Thanksgiving, that's what most of the turkeys are going to be at the grocery store. Just go ahead and set that thing out about, I don't know, depending on the weight of the bird, a couple days ahead of time. This one, about 2 days. It wasn't quite ready. Like I said, it's a 22-pound bird, probably the biggest turkey I've ever dealt with. But the center part was still a little frozen. So like I said, we just took our kitchen shears. We went down each side, cut the spine out. That's the spine right there. Left a little bit of meat on it. If you're a person who does their own stock, you want to save this. You can cut this up into manageable pieces, and that with the neck, you can make a nice turkey stock for dressing or anything like that. We're not going to deal with that today. We're just going to throw it away. But we just basically got the spine of the cavity. Now right up in here is where the wishbone is going to be located. We're just going to come in here. We're going to make an incision. Basically, I don't know what the turkey anatomy is, but if it was a human, we'd basically be making a snip on the sternum, so we can just break that cavity and have it lay flat. Just one little snip right in there. Alright, so next we're just going to take this, let me get my shears out the way. Throw this neck out. Try to do it with one hand. I'm a little low on gloves, so I'm trying to only do it with one hand. The easiest thing to do if you had two hands would be just glove up and flip her over. But without that spine, you notice how these legs will just lay down. So you can take right there, press on the breast, and you should be able to hear it break just like that. There, I think that cracked it. Might have put another glove on there and try to see if we can get it a little bit to lay a little bit more flat for her. But that's basically the process. The wings and everything is going to lay flat. We'll be able to open that cavity up and get a little bit more even cook. Gonna come back, gonna make the marinade for it and get the grill fired up. We'll be back real fast. Alright everybody, welcome back. We're gonna start working on the marinade now. To begin, what we've got a half a stick of butter in a small saucepan. To that, we're gonna add some spices. Now I went out and the first frost has hit. A lot of our herb garden is dead, so I just went to the store and got some herbs from there. We got some rosemary, some thyme. Now the thyme comes in one big sprig. I cut it in half. We're going to use basically the same marinade. We're kind of make it twice. The first time is going to have chicken stock added to it for the marinade. The second time we're just going to melt some butter, the same spices that we have here, and then we're going to drizzle it on at the end to kind of cover. But we've got some rosemary, some thyme, I couldn't find any fresh sage, so that's some dry sage, about a teaspoon. And then we got tablespoon, it's mainly just a rough measure, of Tony, I don't know how do you say it. They had a commercial on TV a year or so. It's Tony Chachere's. That's how I call it. But the commercial called it Tony Chachere's and Chachere's in the same commercial. So you can find it in the spice aisle. There's a whole line of it, but this Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. Just going to melt all that together. We're also going to add a, I don't do any fresh garlic either. I just do minced garlic, like fresh minced. We're going to add a good spoonful of garlic to the pan. We're going to get it all in there, start the melting process. Once we bring it up to a boil, let the aromatics kind of start to insinuate. We'll put it on a slow simmer for a few minutes, let everything kind of incorporate, then we'll get into injecting the bird. Alright guys, so you can see that the butter's starting to melt. While that's slowly coming up to a boil, we're going to get the spices in there. I'm just going to spoon it all into there together. Put the aromatics in there. A little bit of sage in there. About a spoonful of garlic. And just give it a nice stir, let it kind of all simmer together, come up to a boil. Alright, to season the bird, we're going to start with the underside of it. We're going to start with that all-purpose season, salt, pepper, garlic. This is just a little concoction I made. It's granulated garlic with some salt and pepper. We're just going to get the bigger one here. Just apply liberally all over the bottom side here. Now we're going to start with the bottom because we're going to flip it over and then we're going to finish with the top as we inject. So we're just getting just a nice coat here on the bottom of stuff. Kind of working it in, just getting some stuff on the bottom. We'll come back through after we do the top here. And after that, we're going to hit it with a little bit of the Killer Hogs barbecue rub. This is Malcolm Reed's rub if you ever watch How to Barbecue right on YouTube. Not going to really hit it super hard. We're not really wanting the barbecue flavor. We're more or less just going for a little bit of color. Grab the legs, we'll flip her over. When you're doing turkey, you want, what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to get that skin as dry as possible. Okay? Then we're going to hit it, we're going to start it off with a little bit of cooking spray. That'll be just a little bit of liquid fat on there. And we're going to be cooking the grill a little bit hotter than normal smoke day. We're going to be going somewhere between 300, probably kind of keep it around 300. And what that's going to do is going to crisp the skin up, get a nice bark on there, and have a nice skin. It won't be so chewy like sometimes turkey can be. We got the cooking spray. This is just normal, just canola oil in a can, in a spray. And we're just going to start by just liberally hitting everything. Just trying to get a little bit of fat on that skin. Basically, we're just wanting to get a nice something for the seasoning to stick to, and something to help crisp the skin. Just getting all the nooks and crannies. And then again, we're just going to come over to the top of it with just a little bit of that barbecue rub just for color. Get the wings. Get the breast all over. Underside of the legs. Alright, so here's the marinade. I put it into a strainer to kind of get some of the bigger pieces off. I'm going to deglove because I kind of need 2 hands to pull this plunger back sometimes. Alright, so we're just going to start by injecting a couple places here. Come in here, we're going to inject the thigh. Kind of, just like you would anything else, just kind of push, release on your way back. Just kind of trying to flavor everything up. Come in on the thighs, or the wings, put a little injection there, a little injection there, just trying to get some stuff in there. And for the breast, we're just going to go down deep in. Three or four places. Alright guys, the grill's up to temperature. The dome's showing about 275, the grill's reading about 290. So we're gonna get the dome off, we're gonna get the bird laid on the grill, and then we're gonna go from there. We're just gonna do a little bit more dressing with the seasoning from where it washed off from the rub. But we're gonna get that laid up, start the cooking process. Get everything kind of laid out. I'm not using gloves, but to kind of help protect the wings, we're going to kind of bend them kind of back underneath itself. Yeah, maybe not. Those don't want to bend. Yeah, we'll just keep it on there like that. Alright, she's laying all flat. We're going to just get the rest of the rub, throw it on there, and then we'll get the dome on there. We'll see. We'll be back in about an hour. We're at about an hour and a half, coming up on the 2-hour mark. Just wanted to check out the bird here. Starting to get a nice color on it. Probably let it go another hour or so, and we'll get a probe in it. If you can notice the wing tips, I tried to tuck them before, they were just so stiff from the injection. They're starting to get a little dark. What you can do to prevent them getting any darker, I might go grab some foil and just kind of wrap around the wing tips and the leg ends, just to kind of keep them from blackening up. The bird's getting ready to come up on the 3-hour mark, 2.5, 3-hour mark, and the skin's starting to get like a nice, I don't know, like a nice crust almost. So what we're gonna do, I had a little bit left of the marinade, so not be wasteful. I'm just gonna take what's left of that, and I added another stick of butter. And we're basically going to be just adding the rest of the rest of the rosemary. We'll add a little bit more sprigs of thyme, and maybe just a touch more of that seasoning. And we're basically just going to make the same kind of concoction that we made for the marinade, just minus the chicken stock. We're just going to make it a little bit more buttery, and what we're basically doing is making like a drizzle. Just add a little sprig of that. We're going to make it just a drizzle for the turkey. Kind of baste it with just some butter. Let it kind of drip onto the bird. We'll bring this up to a slow simmer. Let everything kind of redistribute and kind of get all mixed in together. Then I'll drizzle it on the bird as she finishes cooking. Alright everybody, we're coming up on the 2.5-hour mark. Here's what the bird's looking like. If you notice it, when you touch the skin, it's kind of like setting a bark on a brisket or something like that. So what we're going to do, nothing comes off the finger, we're just going to take it and kind of drizzle this butter concoction all over the bird. Not necessarily brushing it, just kind of letting it drizzle on top of the bird, just moistening the skin. We'll repeat this a couple hours. The grill's cooled down a little bit. It's showing about 100 or 280. The bird's just put a probe in it. Bird's about 114. So we're coming up on it. Just kind of coating it all in, keeping it hydrated. Now for the next hour, we're just going to keep an eye on it. As the bird's finishing up on the smoke sometimes, the tendency is to let it gets a little dark on you. So if it starts to get a little dark on us, we're just going to come and loosely tint it with foil, and that will keep it from getting too dark. So we're going to get the lid back on. We're going to put this butter on warm just to keep it liquidy, and we'll be back in the next 30-45 minutes to check on it. Alright guys, we're coming up on the about the 3.5-4 hour mark. Gonna put the last basting of the butter and herbs on. After that, once it kind of dries a little bit, probably won't let it get any darker than this, so I'll probably loosely tint it with some tin foil. I think the center was still just a little bit frozen. My thighs and wings are close to being done, but I'm still about 10 to 15 degrees off on the breast. So I think I'm just going to hit it with just a little bit more butter, tint it so it doesn't get too much more darker than this, and then just kind of wait it out. Sun's setting on me, starting to finish the last little bit of light here. That's what she's looking like so far. Like I said, we're just going to loosely tint it. I'll show you that, but then probably won't show it again until we're at temps. All right, so I went and got three small sheets of tin foil. I'll set those over here. I'm just going to loosely tint it. I did some smaller pieces in case I needed to manipulate it a little bit. Like I said, we're not going to wrap it like you would a brisket or anything. We're just going to loosely tint it. The wind has started to pick up here. I think two will work if I just kind of move it like that. Like I said, this isn't a wrap. It's just basically kind of shield the top from that convection. All right, guys, welcome back. The temperature just said we hit 165, so I wanted to come in with a little bit more accurate thermometer here and kind of just probe it all over. The eyes look way done. For poultry, what you're really looking for is about 165 minimum. The dark meat like to go a little bit warmer, but I think what had happened was I don't think I got the breast completely done, so she was just a little bit frozen. Do apologize for the lighting. The sun set on me here. I've got a little headlamp. That's still a little cold right in there. That right breast is still just a few degrees cool. I'm probably just going to let it go just a few more minutes longer and then pull it off. We'll be with you once we get back inside.
No.
Kim, quiet on the set, please. Quiet on the set.
Your stand-in is being difficult.
All right, be quiet. All right, everybody, welcome back inside. We pulled the turkey off once. We gave it a couple more minutes to get to that 165. Brought it in, tinted it loosely in some tin foil, let it rest about 10-15 minutes. Just about ready to cut into it. Smells delicious. I tell you, the house smelled great all day as I was cooking. That had that butter just simmering inside. I got the rosemary and thyme on it. We injected it with the same stuff we basted it with. Just added about a cup and a half of chicken stock. After we injected it, we touched up the the rub, put it on the Weber Smoky Mountain. I think it ended up being on there about 4.5 hours. Like I said, I don't think I got the turkey completely thawed. So as we were spatchcocking it, kind of realized that it was still a little bit of ice crystals in there. When you guys do this at home, give yourself plenty of time. Give it 3, 4, 5, even a week. Let it slow thaw in the fridge. It made the cook last longer because the legs got done, but the breast still needed a little bit extra time. But we did cook that up at around 300 degrees. That's a little bit warmer than what you typically think of smoking, but that extra heat is going to crisp that skin up and make it nice and tender and keep that juice in there for you. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video today. It's a turkey special. in preparation for Thanksgiving. We're a little bit early here on the actual date, but hopefully you guys are doing some research, thinking about doing some turkey recipes. I highly recommend the smoked turkey. It was very easy. Got a nice color on it, pretty. I hope that you guys, whatever you do for Thanksgiving, have an enjoyable Thanksgiving. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate your patience with the length in between videos. Like I said in the beginning, my schedule gets a little bit better in November. I'll be all gone on Thanksgiving. On the actual day, we'll be flying. So wherever this video finds you, I hope that you have a good Thanksgiving spent with family and friends. If you do drive, be very careful. Have a great holidays. If you do fly, just a side note, be super special and be very kind to your flight crew. A lot of us, we know what we're getting into when we get into this, but it's still nice to especially for the flight attendants, to have a pleasant cabin crew to deal with. But appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.